Hey guys, and welcome to this episode of the Happy Knitting Podcast. My name is Julia, and I'm coming to you from the UK. Today is Friday, the 27th of September 2024. Excuse me if I still sound like I have a cold, because yes, I'm still suffering from whatever the primary school version of the freshest flu is. It is ridiculous, but I am feeling much better. Thank you to everyone who wished me well. And I thought I would at least quickly catch you up on what I've been knitting this past week. One reason to do it today is because tomorrow I am going to a baby shower and 2 of my finished objects then will be given away. So I thought I would show them today. My friend is having her second baby, and I decided for her I would finish this blanket, which was supposed to be much bigger for a me-sized blanket, but honestly I was a little bit done with it, and I think it's really cute, and I think it really is my friend's aesthetic. I mentioned last week that with this friend I wasn't 100% sure sort of how adventurous I could be in terms of colors and yarns, but this feels very like Sophie, so I think she will love it. And yes, I am 100% aiming for the mom's taste because the baby won't care. But yeah, so I finished this blanket. I used Yarn Smith Create DK, which I really like. I think it's a good alternative to Stylecraft Special DK, which is what a lot of blanket people in the UK seem to be using. I think I prefer this. I just chose a bunch of colors, and you might remember I made these little sunburst granny squares and joined them all together, and when I got sick of them I just made a granny stitch border, and I finished it off with a row of, are they half double crochets, are they single crochets? I think it depends whether you're in the US or the UK, but I finished it off. I think it just looks really neat like that. And yeah, it's not huge, but I think it'll be good for the buggy, for a car seat, for a newborn. And then when the baby gets bigger, I can always make them a bigger blanket. So this is done. I have washed it. I have cut off all the ends. I just need to wrap this. And then I finished what I showed you last week, and this is still slightly wet. Because I started blocking this yesterday, but it is so wet and so cold that it's not really drying, but it should do by tomorrow. And this, of course, is the beloved baby bonnet by Tin Can Knits, which I raved about last week. I just love this pattern. I loved when my son wore these. I love giving these as gifts. I think they just look really good. They look really sort of effective, and they're handy. And this one turned out a lot bigger than the one I did for my other friend. But because you can tie it, I think it'll be fine. And if it's too big, then the baby can grow into it. And for this I used sock yarn held double. I used some really old sock yarn from Felt Fusion, who is in the UK. I did a 3-stitch I-cord rather than a 4-stitch I-cord because I find that easier to tie, and otherwise I just follow the pattern, and I think it's really cute. So yeah, job for today, wait for this to dry and then wrap both of these up, and I think that should be good for baby knits. And then I also finished something you didn't even see as a work in progress, because I caked up a whole bunch of yarns from my stash, sort of old, really old stash, and decided to do some gift knitting. So I thought about making these for my father-in-law, but I have instead made them for Kai, my husband, who's really excited about them. These are socks with sock yarn held double. So I use a 3.25 millimeter needle, hold the sock yarn double, and for a men's sock I do 48 stitches. For a women's sock I would do 44. I mean, there is some give, they are stretchy. They would fit me if they had to, but yeah, it just depends on gauge obviously as well. But yeah, I made some socks for Kai. I think these took me 2 days because I didn't really knit on anything else, and because it is yarn held double. And if you're wondering, for a men's sock, how far can you go with one skein of sock yarn held double? this is how long they get. My husband has a EU size 44 foot, and these used, I think, 96 grams of yarn, which is good because it means I used up the entire skein. And another reason why I'm podcasting today is because Kai can't wait to wear these, so I thought I'd show them first. They look pretty thick, but I think they'll be really good for exactly this kind of weather we're having at the moment because it is cold. But it is not so cold that heating is kicking in yet. So yeah, those are Kai's double-stranded socks. And the yarn I use for this is some really old Tausendschön yarn, which is a German brand. I assume they're still dying. I don't actually know. I think this is one of their one-of-a-kind colorways that I bought during lockdown, so you can tell how long this has been in stash. I think this may have been my first COVID purchase when we were like in the first 2 weeks of the first ever lockdown. I bought a bunch of yarn to knit, and yeah, I have finally knit it. So that is my last and third finished object of the week. And I actually caked up another cake of the same yarn, and this one has a tag. Let's pull it out. So it is Tausendschön Wolle, and another one of their one-of-a-kind skeins, which they call Verwegene. I just bought a couple of these. I remember because I like the colors and I needed some colorful yarn in my life. And this one, I think I'm going to make socks for my sister-in-law. Both my sister-in-law, my mother-in-law, and another person who I tend to knit for have really tiny feet. So I thought I should make some tiny socks, and then I can still see who I gift them to. I think all of them have a EU size 36 or 37. So I cast on 56 stitches, which just feels tiny. And these I'm not double stranding, I'm just doing a regular single stranded sock on 2.25 millimeter needles. I just cast these on last night. I caked up a bunch of yarn, put it in a bag, threw in some sock needles, and if I get gift knitting done, then I'm happy. And if it doesn't happen, that's also fine. But yeah, so that is a new sock project because yes, I have lots of socks on the needles, but I wanted a different one, and I really wanted a plain vanilla one because I have 2 ribbed socks on the go. The colorwork one is still in my work bag, and honestly it's not really worth showing it to you, but I have worked a little bit on these striped socks that I'm striping using Beehive Yarn Minis. So the first one is done, and I think it has been done for a while. Oh no, and I ripped out my needle in the middle of the heel. That's not good. Hang on, let's fix that really quickly. No one panic, it's all good. I am in the middle of the heel of the second sock. So I think I picked these up when I was at that yellow stripe. So we have made some progress on these, and these are, like I said, minis from Beehive Yarns. And where did I throw the first one? I've lost it already. Interesting. Anyways, there we go. I am doing what am I doing? A 3x1 ribbed sock for this one. So yeah, socks are going. I have not really worked on my Nebula sweater. I mean, I have worked on it a little bit, but not really any progress that you would see. But I have cast on a new project instead, because that's what we do. So, I was swatching with a couple of different yarns for a couple of different projects. I really want to make the Traveler Shell by Andrea Mowry, which just looks really fun. And I swatched with 2 different yarns, and with 2 different yarns I didn't get gauge, like not even close to gauge. And the second yarn that I swatched, I then decided I want to knit with it anyways, because it was really pretty. And this is the yarn in question. This is Studio Donegal Darny, which this is a beautiful yarn. Funnily enough, I ordered this back when we were still in Germany. So I ordered it from, I presume, Ireland. Although it may have been I'm not sure which seller I got it from. I ordered it from somewhere, I don't know. Anyways, and then obviously we moved here 4 years ago. So I've brought it back to the UK and now I'm finally knitting with it. And let's see if I can find my swatch because I did get that out. Everything has just gone away. Here we go. I wish you could feel the swatch because this is a fingering weight yarn, yet with a 3.25 millimeter needle. I got around a 20 stitch gauge, which is quite loose, but it's so beautiful. Like the yarn just fluffed up and softened up and made the most beautiful fabric. So I decided I will knit something else with this yarn because I want to knit with this yarn right now. And I was looking at cardigans because I need more cardigans. And I am so glad I finally jumped in on a cardigan, which I am in the middle of a row of, called the Rebel Cardigan by Anke Strick. And let's see if I can show this to you without having to finish my row. Or should I finish my row? Let's finish the row. Oh my gosh, that was a long row. I totally underestimated that. But Rebel Cardigan, essentially Anke Strick, she's a German knitwear designer, but she has patterns in English. And I've had her Big Love cardigan in my library for a long time, and I still want to make it. But I think her constructions, they're really interesting, and oftentimes I just want something simple, so I don't tend to gravitate towards those. But I'm so glad I am making this cardigan because this construction has been absolutely fascinating me. So it's a top-down cardigan. I think it's a 19 stitch gauge. So I am adjusting my size a little bit. You're not supposed to be knitting it with fingering weight, but it works. And essentially you do the sort of back band first. So you do one way, then the other way. And then... And I'm not giving much away, I think, because there's a lot of instructions in this pattern. Basically, you knit down and then you knit sideways, and somehow you get a sleeve and a sort of contiguous shoulder, and you get the front, and everything sort of comes together, and it's just really, really clever. And the amount of detail in this pattern has just really been tickling my brain. I really love it. Like, you can just tell that the designer thought of every little thing. Like, just a couple of like tiny little touches that make everything work really well. So while this has been a project where I had to read the pattern and sort of focus a little bit, I have really enjoyed it, and I think the fit will be fantastic because it is obviously a much better fit than your standard sort of raglan would be. And eventually it turns into a cardigan. So this is where we are. You can see where I've shaped the shoulders. I'm now working on the sleeves, so the rows are really long until eventually we will divide for the sleeves. And then the fronts are rib stitch, and the back is stockinette. And honestly, this has been such a joy. You can see there's a million ends because you do have to break your yarn and rejoin a couple of times, but they are all woven in, so it's not a big issue. And yeah, I think from here on out, it should be quite straightforward. And yeah, I'm just really excited for this. I think for me, this will be a open front cardigan, but there are options to make buttonholes as well, which I might still do, who knows. I think they are afterthought buttonholes anyways. And yeah, I have just been really, really excited by this. It's been a long while since I've been so excited about the construction of a garment. And having knitted this, if this fits like I think it will, I think I need to make the Big Love cardigan next. This Rebel cardigan, also you can do a short or a long version. I don't have enough yarn to make the long version in this. But if it turns out well, I could see myself making multiple versions of this because the long version looks fantastic. And I think these will be really handy for the office as well. So yeah. Very, very excited about this. And as you can see, I've made quite a lot of progress considering I've only casted this on Monday, I think. So yeah, very, very happy with this. Lastly, before we have a handyman coming, I just wanted to quickly show you some other crafty bits that I've been working on. So one of them is my Magnus throw, which I've finally started picking up again. This is a kit from Lion Brand Yarns. I am using the original kit with the original colors, and it's so fluffy. I'm so glad I picked it up again because it'll be a beautiful blanket. I think I sort of double where I was. I think I was somewhere down here last time. So I've done a fair amount of crochet on this the past few nights. Sorry, I'm just hurrying up because I can see the handyman van outside. I've also been spinning up another sweaters quantity from John Arbon Yarn. This is again the Yarnadelic that I used for my Nebula sweater number 1, except this is a different colorway. I'm not sure what it's called, but obviously it's a bit lighter and I think it is so stunning. And for this one, I'm again spinning it long draw, so a woolen spun yarn. I'm 2-plying it. It's got this beautiful variation in color, but this time it's a fingering weight. So I'm very, very happy. I have 2 out of 3 skeins spun up. I have around 790 meters or something like that. So I am very close. The 3rd skein I just need to ply. The singles are already done as well. The 2nd skein is currently drying. This one has been dry for a while, and I am so proud of this spin. I am really, really, really excited. In fact, I think this may have to become a really simple sweater because I just want this yarn to shine. Like, it is just perfectly like bouncy and round and marled and woolly. It's a true woolen spun, and I am very, very happy with this. And then the last crafty thing, which I think I haven't shown you at all, is I am still obsessed with cross stitch. So without showing you my address, I've got the Hoop Club, which is an embroidery club from Cotton Clara, who are not sponsoring me in case you are wondering. And I am doing their last sort of club, which came out a couple of months ago, I believe. And these lemons, and I am so proud of this as well. Sorry, I'm just tooting my own horn today. I don't mean to, but this is a new to me craft, and whereas the past 2 hoops that I did were just basic like back stitch and stuff, this has all kinds of different stitches, and I didn't think I would do it. I didn't think I could do it, but it turns out I can. I've spent a lot of time on this. It's got like split back stitch, I've done French knots, I've done satin stitch, I've done stem stitch, and I'm just really, really excited by this. This is almost done. I may have already lined up another kit, and I want to do some embroidery Christmas gifts as well. So yeah, I just thought I would show that to you very, very briefly because I think once this is done, it may go straight on my wall. But yeah, I am enjoying this so much. It's ridiculous. I've been listening to a lot of podcasts and audiobooks while just stitching away, and it's like painting by numbers, but a little bit more like yarny, if that makes sense. And I'm really, really enjoying it. So yeah, I should probably go, which cuts short the live part of this episode, but that's all right. Essentially, my son's going to school. It's going quite well. We're all still struggling with the change in routine, but hopefully we're getting there. Weather is miserable. It is absolutely horrific. I got completely drenched 3 times in the last 24 hours, which makes me question our policy of not having a car. Yeah, it's not fun, but at least we get to wear all the knits. I'm wearing my self-drafted sort of turtleneck sweater that I made last year. And this has been perfect. This has been perfect for working from home, school runs, like you just throw it on. It's warm, it looks relatively smart. And I am very happy that I made this. I made it out of unspun Hillis Vogue yarn, which you can see it's not exactly looking like new anymore. It is wearing quite a bit, but it is very soft, it's very sturdy, so I don't mind at all. This is just a sort of cozy, comfy sweater, and I'm really, really happy with it. Because I didn't really get to wear it last year. I think by the time I finished it, we were just going into spring, so this wasn't really something I needed, but now it is perfect. Alright, you guys, I will let you go. Thank you so much for watching. I hope wherever you are in the world, you are safe, you are healthy, you have some yarn to play with. Do let me know what you are working on, and thank you so much as well for the kind comments I got last week. That was really, really nice to read, and I appreciate all of your comments. Talk to you very soon. Thanks for watching. Happy knitting. Bye.